The Galactic Council Hall was silent. The silence was not peaceful, it was heavy, tense, and filled with fear. More than 200 alien species sat in that great circular room. Some had scales, some had fur, others were made of light. They all had one question in mind: why did no one return from Earth? At the center of the hall, Commander Zethar walked slowly to the speaking platform. His 4 metallic legs made a soft clicking sound as they touched the glass floor. In one of his smaller hands, he held a data crystal. Inside that small crystal was something that could change everything the galaxy knew about war. Zethar stopped at the center. He looked around. All eyes were on him, eyes of different shapes and colors, all waiting for his words. He placed the crystal into the projection device. A blue hologram appeared in the air, showing a small planet of green and blue. "This is Earth," Zethar said. His translator made a soft mechanical click with every word. "A primitive world. Humans live here. They fight among themselves, they have no unity. They have not yet traveled beyond their own small solar system." He paused, letting his words echo through the hall. By all logic, by every known measure, they should be easy to conquer. But then his tone changed. His eyes darkened. "And yet, 7 fleets have gone to this world. 7 fleets have disappeared. None came back." The hall broke into whispers. Many delegates spoke in confusion. A tall reptilian general stood, his voice sharp. "Impossible," he said. "No planet that weak could destroy a galactic fleet." Zethar raised one clawed hand. "I wish that were true. The first fleet had 50 ships. The second, 120. The third, 300. He tapped the hologram again. The number 800 appeared in red light. The last fleet, sent by the Dravik Collective, had 800 warships. Fully armed. Fully trained. All gone. Gasps filled the room. Even the glowing beings of energy dimmed their light in shock. An ambassador with wings spoke next. Could they have been lost to space storms? Or destroyed by their own weapons? Zethar shook his head. "No. We have recordings. The last signals from the Dravik fleet show that they reached Earth's orbit safely. They prepared for bombardment, and then something happened." The hologram changed again. It now showed flashes of light and strange energy spikes. The fleet's ships glowed for a moment, and then vanished one by one. "What was that?" someone shouted. Zethar's voice was calm, but his eyes showed fear. "We don't know. There was no sign of human weapons. No nuclear fire. No plasma strikes. Only white light. And then silence." The energy being from the Orion cluster flickered nervously. "Are you saying humans have discovered new technology?" "No," Zethar said slowly. "I am saying something else is there. Something we do not understand." The council chamber filled with noise, arguments, disbelief, fear. Only Zethar stayed silent, his mind replaying the final image from the crystal, the image he had not shown anyone. He remembered it clearly. Just before the transmission cut off, one of the Dravik ships sent a short visual signal. For a brief second, the camera had turned toward space. And there, floating above Earth, was a human figure. No ship. No armor. Just a man. His body glowed like fire, and his eyes burned brighter than stars. He raised his hand toward the alien fleet, and the ships started to melt like wax in sunlight. The signal ended right there. Zethar blinked, forcing the memory away. "We will send a small scout probe," he said. "We must know what is happening on that planet." But deep inside, Zethar was already sure that sending another probe was useless. The fleets had not simply been destroyed. They had been erased, wiped from time, as if the planet itself refused to remember them. A cold voice spoke from the shadows of the chamber. It belonged to High Chancellor Vora, the leader of the council. Her silver skin shimmered under the light. "Commander Zethar," she said, "what do you believe happened?" Zethar hesitated. His mandibles twitched. "I believe, Chancellor," he said carefully, "that we attacked something we should never have disturbed." The hall grew quiet again. The sound of distant machinery hummed softly. "What do you mean?" Vora asked. Zethar looked up at the hologram of Earth, that small, innocent-looking blue world. There is something under that planet's surface, he said. Something old. Something that woke up when the first ship fired. Every delegate sat frozen. Even the machines recording the session seemed to slow down. And what is this thing? Vora whispered. Zethus' voice was low. We do not know what it is. But it spoke one word before the signal ended. The room leaned forward. What word? The Chancellor asked. Zetha looked straight ahead. His translator clicked twice, then spoke the word that had haunted his dreams. Mine. A deep silence filled the hall, a silence heavier than fear itself. And far away, on the small blue planet, something ancient stirred again, as if it had heard its name being spoken across the stars. The next day, the Galactic Council approved Zethus' request. A scout probe would be sent to Earth. It was small, no larger than a cargo pod, and controlled by an artificial mind named Kara 9. Zetha watched from the command deck as the probe was launched into deep space. The engines glowed white, vanishing into the dark. He stood silently, his eyes fixed on the holographic screen. Transmission stable, said the navigation officer. Probe will reach Earth's orbit in 14 hours. Zetha nodded but said nothing. He felt something strange inside, a cold uneasiness he couldn't explain. The galaxy had conquered hundreds of worlds. None had ever caused fear like this small, blue planet. Hours later, Kara 9's voice echoed through the ship's speakers. Commander Zetha, this is probe Kara 9. I have entered the target system. Scanning now. On the hologram, the image of the solar system appeared, one bright yellow star and 8 small planets circling it. Earth glowed faintly in the center of the screen, beautiful yet quiet. Life readings confirmed, Kara 9 reported. Oxygen levels high. Surface temperature stable. Thousands of radio signals detected, but none seem active. Zetha frowned. Explain. Most signals are old, Kara 9 said. They are not live transmissions, more like echoes, repeating loops from many years ago. Show one, Zetha ordered. Static filled the air. Then a human voice crackled through the speakers. This is Houston, mission complete, returning to base. The voice was calm, human, and ancient. Kara 9 explained, these signals are hundreds of years old. I detect no modern communication. The planet is silent. Zetha felt a chill crawl across his metal skin. Continue the descent, he said. As the probe moved closer to Earth, the blue planet filled the view. Oceans glittered like glass. Clouds swirled over green landmasses. Everything looked peaceful, too peaceful. I am entering orbit, Kara 9 said. Scanning surface structures. Bright light filled the screen. The outlines of human cities appeared, New York, Tokyo, Moscow, and others. But they were all empty. No human movement detected, Kara 9 continued. Cities appear abandoned. Power grids offline. No radio chatter. Zetha leaned forward. Abandoned. Impossible. Earth had billions of humans. That is correct, the AI replied. But sensors detect no life forms on the surface. None. The control room went silent. Every officer stared at the screen. Kara 9, Zetha said carefully, are you certain? Yes, Commander. The planet shows no signs of civilization. It is like a graveyard. The probe moved lower, descending through the atmosphere. Thunderclouds flashed with lightning, but there was no sign of ships or weapons. Just silence. I will land near a city once called London, Kara 9 said. The hologram showed tall, broken buildings covered in vines. Roads were cracked. Nature had begun to take back everything. Kara 9 activated ground scanners. Strange, she said. There are energy readings beneath the surface. Something still alive underground. Zetha's eyes widened. What kind of energy? It does not match any known pattern. It feels old. Suddenly, the video feed flickered. Static burst across the screen. Kara 9, report. Zetha barked. No answer. Just static. Then, slowly, the picture returned, but something was wrong. The image showed the ruins of London, and in the center of the street stood a human figure. It was facing away from the camera, perfectly still. Kara 9, Zethar said slowly, what is that? I do not know, the AI replied. Thermal sensors show no heat. But visual sensors confirm shape, human adult male. The figure turned. For a moment, the screen blurred, then focused again. The man's eyes were glowing white. His expression was calm, almost peaceful. He raised a hand toward the camera. Energy spike detected. Kara 9 shouted. Unknown frequency. I am losing control. The image shattered into static. The sound turned into a high-pitched scream, and then everything went dark. Zethar's control room went silent. Every console flickered. Connection lost, said the technician. The probe is gone. Zethar stood still, staring at the black screen. He felt his body tremble slightly, something that had not happened in years. What did you see before the feed cut? Asked Chancellor Vora through the comm line. Zethar hesitated. A human, he said quietly. But not like the others. What do you mean? Zethar looked at the empty screen again. He looked at the probe as if he knew we were watching. As if he could see us through the signal. The Chancellor said nothing for a moment. Then her voice came, low and steady. Commander, I want you to destroy that planet. Immediately. Zethar turned his eyes toward the hologram of Earth. It looked small and harmless, a quiet blue world floating in black space. He spoke softly, almost to himself. If 800 ships could not touch it, what makes you think one can? The Chancellor's voice hardened. Then prepare a report. We will gather the High War Council. If humans or whatever controls that planet have such power, we must decide if they are a threat. Zethar nodded. Understood. But even as he spoke, the hologram flickered. For a second, the planet of Earth on the display changed, glowing faintly with white light. Zethar froze. Did anyone touch the controls? No, Commander. Then a whisper echoed through the control room, soft, almost human. You should not have come. The sound disappeared. Every officer looked terrified. Zethar stood in silence, staring at the planet's glowing image. Far away, on the surface of Earth, the white-eyed man turned his gaze toward the sky, and smiled. The command center of the Galactic Council ship was darker than usual. No one spoke. Every officer could still hear that voice in their heads, the soft, human whisper that had echoed through their systems. You should not have come. For a few seconds, even the ship's lights had dimmed. The control panels flickered, then slowly returned to normal. Zethar stood at the center, motionless. His compound eyes reflected the image of Earth still glowing faintly on the hologram screen. Finally, the silence broke. Commander, said one of his officers, we have received something else. A signal. Zethar turned. From where? The officer's hands trembled. From Earth, sir. The transmission started just after the voice. Zethar felt a deep unease. Play it. The sound filled the room. It was not speech at first, just deep, rhythmic pulses. Thump, thump, thump. Like a heartbeat. Then the pulses changed, turning into tones, then symbols on the holographic screen. Zethar stared at them. Is that a code? Yes, Commander. It is repeating. A language, but not one we know. The Council ship's translation AI began to work, running thousands of patterns, scanning every known dialect in the Galactic database. After a few minutes, it stopped. Translation complete, partially, the AI said. Everyone leaned closer. The symbols shifted, forming words in the Galactic common tongue. The message was short. Beneath us lies the memory of war. You have awakened it. Zethar's voice was almost a whisper. Memory of war. What does that mean? Before anyone could answer, another voice came through the channel, Chancellor Vora's. Commander Zethar, the Council is watching your feed live. Do you have visual confirmation of the signal source? Not yet, he said. The probe was destroyed before it could locate it. But the energy readings point to deep underground, possibly several kilometers beneath Earth's crust. Send another probe, Vora ordered. Zethar hesitated. Chancellor, with respect, If the last one was destroyed instantly, another will not survive. Then send something smarter, she replied coldly. Zephyr understood what she meant. He turned to his crew. Prepare an AI deep scanner. It will not descend physically. It will enter through frequency waves, digital infiltration. The engineers worked quickly. Within minutes, the ship's systems glowed with golden light. The scanner's artificial mind began to connect to Earth's surface through coded signals. Zephyr watched the data appear line by line. Connection established, said the technician. Entering the planet's digital network. Wait. Commander, this is strange. What is it? There is no network. It's like the planet has no communication systems left, but something is still responding. Responding from where? Zephyr asked. From underground. The ship's lights flickered again. On the hologram, new symbols appeared, unknown, ancient-looking, glowing white. The AI scanner spoke suddenly in a mechanical voice. I have found a structure below the surface. It is enormous. Possibly mechanical, possibly alive. Zephyr's mandibles tightened. Alive. Yes. It is sending signals directly into space. But not to us. The hall filled with unease. Then who? Zephyr asked. The AI paused for 3 long seconds. Unknown. The signal is going into empty space. But it is bouncing, as if waiting for an answer. Zephyr stared at the display, watching as the glowing lines spread outward from Earth, a pulse expanding into the void. Then something happened. The entire ship shook, even though they were millions of kilometers away. Energy surged through every console. The lights turned white. The AI screamed. Commander! Something is tracing our signal. It's coming up the data link. Cut the connection. Zephyr shouted. The technicians tried, but the system didn't respond. The voice, that same calm human voice, echoed again through every speaker. You came to take. But you will give. The AI systems melted down. Sparks flew from the control panels. Zephyr grabbed the emergency lever, cutting power to the communication core. The lights flickered, then returned to normal. Status report, he barked. Systems stable, said an officer. But we lost the deep scanner. It's gone. Zephyr took a slow breath. What do you mean gone? It's not destroyed, the officer said quietly. It's just not there anymore. Like it was erased from our systems, from memory. Zephyr felt a cold fear rise in his chest. Erased, he repeated. Then another technician spoke, voice shaking. Commander, you should see this. The hologram zoomed in on Earth again. This time, deep beneath its crust, a light was growing, soft and white at first, then brighter. Zephyr's mandibles clicked nervously. What is that? Energy surge, said the technician. Massive. Growing every second. Zephyr turned to the comm panel. Chancellor Vora, are you seeing this? Her voice came back immediately. Yes. What is it? Zephyr stared at the glowing sphere inside the planet. I don't know. But it's waking up. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected something else, a heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. Not a mechanical sound. Not a machine. Something alive. Something ancient. Zephyr whispered, it's not a weapon. It's a being. The Chancellor's voice trembled slightly for the first time. Commander, retreat at once. That is an order. But it was too late. The white light from Earth pulsed once, and every ship system went black. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, from the darkness, a faint voice came through the speakers again, the same soft, human-like tone. You learned nothing from the first war. And then the transmission ended. Darkness filled the command ship. Only the sound of quiet breathing and the faint hum of emergency lights broke the silence. Commander Zephyr stood in the center of the control room, his metallic claws gripping the console tightly. For a long moment, no one moved. Every officer sat frozen, afraid to speak. Then the power returned, lights flickered, screens came alive, and the hologram of Earth glowed once more in the air. But something was different. The planet's blue and green colors were now mixed with lines of bright white energy, spreading across its surface like glowing veins. Zethus' voice was low. "What are we looking at?" One of his technicians swallowed nervously. "Energy patterns, global. They are moving under the oceans, through the land, and, wait. Commander, they're forming a shape." "Show me," Zethus said. The hologram zoomed out. The glowing lines connected, forming what looked like a massive circular symbol covering almost the entire planet. At its center, the light pulsed rhythmically. Thump, thump, thump. The same heartbeat sound again. Zethus' eyes widened. "That's no random energy. That's a signal, a living pulse." Before anyone could speak, Chancellor Vora's voice came through the ship's comm line. "Commander, what's happening? We lost communication with your vessel for 5 minutes. The Council is in panic." Zethus replied, "Chancellor, Earth is changing. It's alive." There was silence on the other end. Then, slowly, Vora said, "Explain." Zethus looked at the hologram again. "Something beneath the surface has awakened. It's using the planet itself, like a body. Every mountain, every ocean, every storm, it's all part of it." "That's impossible," Vora said. "I thought so too," Zethus replied, "until now." Suddenly, the sensors beeped. The readings showed enormous bursts of power rising from Earth's core. "Commander," a crew member shouted. "The energy output just tripled. If it continues, the whole solar system could." He didn't finish. Because the hologram changed again. A face appeared, not human, not alien, but something in between. It was made of light, huge and calm, stretching across the holographic field. The eyes were bright white, without pupils. Every officer stepped back in fear. The voice that came next was not loud, but it filled every mind on the ship. "You were warned." Zethus froze. "Who are you?" he asked. The light face blinked slowly. "We are what remains." "Remains of what?" Zethus demanded. The voice replied, "The First War." The control room fell silent. Zethus' mandibles twitched. There was no record of a First War. "What are you talking about?" The glowing face turned slightly, as if studying him. "Long before your council, before your kind learned to walk the stars, there was another war. It ended here." Zethus' heart pounded. "Here? On Earth?" "Yes," the voice said. "This world was not born weak. It was a prison. A seal. The war ended because we locked the destroyer beneath it." Zethus felt the floor tilt under his feet. A destroyer. A being of endless hunger. It devoured stars, consumed worlds. We trapped it under this planet and built life above it to keep it asleep. Zethus' mind raced. "You mean, the humans?" The light flickered. They were its dream. The surface was made to distract it, to keep it dreaming of life, not death. Zethus' voice trembled. "Then when the first fleet attacked, you woke it," the being said simply. "Your weapons broke the balance. The destroyer began to stir." The lights across the ship started flickering again, reacting to the rising power from Earth. The heartbeat sound grew louder, faster. Thump thump. Thump thump. Zethus looked around. "If it wakes completely, what happens?" The voice paused, then answered with cold finality. "Then all will burn again." The face of light began to fade, but before disappearing, it spoke one last time. "You still have time, but not much. Leave this world. Forget it ever existed." The hologram vanished. Silence filled the ship again. No one spoke for a long moment. Finally, Chancellor Vora's voice broke through. "Commander, return immediately. We must discuss this in council." Zethus didn't respond at first. He just stared at the planet, glowing brighter by the minute. Then he said softly, "Chancellor, I don't think we have time for discussions." "What do you mean?" "The energy from Earth is rising again," Zethus said. "Faster than before. If that being was telling the truth, the destroyer is waking up." Static crackled across the comm line. "Then retreat, Zethus. Get out of there." Before she could finish, alarms exploded across the ship. "Commander," a technician shouted. "A gravitational field, it's pulling us in." The crew scrambled to take control, but it was no use. Earth's pull had become impossibly strong, as if space itself was bending around it. Zephyr gritted his teeth. All power to thrusters. Reverse course. Engines roared, lights flashed, but the ship barely moved. The hologram showed a swirling light above Earth's atmosphere, a vortex of energy forming in the sky. Zephyr stared in horror. "It's opening something." A small orb of white energy rose from the planet, glowing brighter and brighter until it filled the entire screen. Then a voice, softer this time, whispered again, almost sorrowful. "It wakes." The light erupted outward, and everything went white. When the light faded, the stars were gone. Commander Zephyr opened his eyes and found himself floating in black space. No sound, no movement, only silence. His ship's alarms were dead. The crew hung weightless around him, staring in shock. "Status report," he said quietly. No answer. The communications officer shook his head. "Commander, sensors are offline. I can't even locate our position." Zephyr looked toward the main screen. Where Earth should have been, there was now only a glowing sphere, white, bright, and pulsing like a heart. "What happened?" whispered one of the crew. "Did the planet explode?" Zephyr shook his head slowly. "No. It's still there. But something's changing." The light began to twist, stretching outward into patterns that looked alive, moving like muscle, not energy. The shape grew larger, expanding until it blocked out the distant stars. Then came the sound. A low rumble, like the breath of a sleeping giant. The air inside the ship vibrated. Zephyr's voice was tense. "All power to the shields. Now." The technician tried, but nothing responded. "Systems not functioning. Something is draining our energy." The ship's lights flickered again. The engines coughed, then went silent. From the glowing sphere, two enormous shapes began to emerge, like wings of light, unfurling slowly into the void. Between them, a massive form started to rise. It wasn't metal. It wasn't flesh. It was something between both, a living construct made of light and shadow. Zephyr's eyes widened. "By the stars." The creature's body stretched for miles, its surface shifting like liquid fire. No clear face, only an endless shape that pulsed with power. A deep, echoing voice filled every mind on the ship. It wasn't heard through speakers, it was inside their heads. "I dreamt of silence. You brought war again." Zephyr gasped. "It's the destroyer." The creature turned slowly, and as it moved, reality seemed to bend around it. Stars warped and stretched. One of Zephyr's officers screamed, clutching his head. "It's in my mind. I can feel it." Zephyr grabbed the control rail. "Focus. Keep your thoughts clear." The voice came again, calm, yet filled with something ancient and terrible. "For ages I slept beneath their songs. They built life above me, thinking their small hearts could keep me dreaming." "Who are you?" Zephyr demanded. "What are you?" The stars flickered as if the universe itself paused to listen. Then the voice replied. "I am hunger. I am the end they forgot." The creature turned its attention toward the Council fleet's data link, still faintly connected to the distant Galactic Council. "I remember you," it said. "Your kind came before. You burned the skies. You ended everything." Zephyr shook his head. "That's not possible. The Council is only a few thousand years old." The voice rumbled with something that almost sounded like laughter. "You count time in sparks. I have seen galaxies die. You are children playing with the ashes of those who came before." The ship trembled. Every metal surface glowed faintly as the creature's power pressed against them. Zephyr shouted, "Activate warp. Get us out of here." The technician screamed back, "Warp field unstable. We can't escape, it's locking us in place." The hologram blinked and showed the Council's main chamber. Chancellor Vora's terrified face appeared on screen. "Commander, we are detecting massive energy waves. What is that thing?" Zephyr turned toward her image. It's the being they sealed beneath Earth. The destroyer is awake. Vora's voice shook. Can it be contained? Zephyr looked at the window, at the creature that now covered half the sky. No. Not by us. The being spoke again, softer this time. You call yourselves conquerors. Yet you do not even know what you destroyed to exist. Zephyr frowned. What do you mean? This world you feared, the humans, they were my dream. I made them to remember what life once was. Every song, every smile, every war of theirs, was my dream trying to feel alive again. Zephyr's heart stopped. The humans were part of you. Yes. When you attacked, you didn't destroy them. You woke me. The creature's glowing wings spread wider, and beams of light shot across space. Wherever they touched, ships went dark, powered down instantly, lifeless. Zephyr fell to his knees. Then what do you want now? For a long moment, there was only silence. Then the voice whispered. To finish what began. The stars around Earth blinked out one by one. The destroyer was feeding, pulling energy directly from nearby suns. The sky itself dimmed. Zephyr stood up, gripping the console. If you destroy everything, there will be nothing left. The voice answered calmly. That is mercy. Suddenly, alarm screamed again. One of the officers shouted, Commander! A small object is leaving Earth's orbit. Zephyr looked up. On the screen, a small human ship, old, broken, but somehow still functioning, was flying directly toward the creature. What is that? The scanners zoomed in. Inside the ship was a single human, the same figure seen before, glowing with white fire. Zephyr's eyes widened. It's him, the man from the first transmission. The human's voice echoed across all channels, soft but steady. You're awake, old one. But you're not free. The destroyer's massive form stopped moving. The white light surrounding the human grew brighter, brighter than the sun itself. Zephyr shielded his eyes. What is he doing? The sensors screamed. Massive energy surge. He's channeling the planet's core directly into himself. The human spoke one last time. If my world must fall to keep the stars alive, then let it fall. And then, the human collided with the destroyer. The explosion that followed was beyond anything Zephyr had ever seen. No color, no sound, just a wave of white light expanding across the void. The ship shook violently. Every system went dark again. When the light faded, Earth was gone. Only silence remained. Zephyr looked at the empty space where the planet once was. Slowly, he whispered, he sacrificed himself. Chancellor Vora's voice came weakly through static. Commander, is it over? Zephyr stared into the quiet stars. I don't know, he said softly. But if that was the destroyer's dream, maybe it's not the end. Maybe it's just sleeping again. And far away, in the emptiness of space, a faint heartbeat echoed once more. Thump, thump, thump. Silence hung over the galaxy. For the first time in thousands of years, every communication channel of the Galactic Council went quiet. No one spoke. No one moved. They had all seen the same thing, the white explosion, the vanishing of Earth, and the final heartbeat that echoed through the stars. Commander Zephyr sat alone in the dark command room of his ship, staring at the empty space where the blue planet had once shined. The instruments were still dead, the engines cold, but somehow the ship floated, as if something unseen was holding it. His voice trembled. We are alive, but how? The technician looked at him with hollow eyes. Commander, I don't understand. Our power was gone. Yet after the light, the ship came back online, but only partial systems. It's like someone restarted us. Zephyr frowned. Someone. Before the technician could answer, a soft humming filled the air. The ship's walls began to glow faintly, not with normal light, but with something that shimmered like memories. It wasn't electricity. It was alive. Zephyr felt it deep inside his chest, a gentle pulse, warm and steady. Thump, thump. The same rhythm he had heard before the explosion. The same heartbeat. He stood slowly. It can't be. The humming grew louder, and the ship's hologram projector flickered. For a moment, static filled the air, and then, an image appeared. It was the human. The same man who had sacrificed himself to destroy the destroyer. His body glowed with white light, but this time his eyes were calm. His voice echoed softly through the command room. Zethar, you survived. Zethar's mouth went dry. You're alive? But Earth. The human shook his head slowly. Not alive. Not dead either. I became part of the dream. Zethar blinked. The dream. The destroyer wasn't just a monster, the human said. It was the dream of creation, the echo of the first life in this galaxy. When it slept, life grew. When it woke, everything ended. Zethar whispered, and you? I joined with it, the human answered. To keep it from consuming everything. Earth was never just a planet. It was the heart, the anchor of the dream. Now that it's gone, the dream has no center. The galaxy will change. Zethar stared at the image. Change? How? The human's form flickered. Worlds will awaken. Stars will move. Life will hear whispers from the dark. The dream remembers every world that ever existed. He looked around slowly, his gaze soft but endless. Some of your kind will feel it too, voices in their sleep, visions of places they have never seen. The dream is searching for a new heart. Zethar clenched his fists. And if it doesn't find one? The human's voice grew faint. Then the galaxy will fade, one light at a time. The hologram flickered again. Wait. Zethar shouted. Tell me, can we stop it? Can we help you? The human smiled faintly. You can remember. That's all that matters. Tell them Earth was not destroyed. It became part of everything. Then the light faded, leaving only darkness once more. Far across the galaxy, other ships began to report strange phenomena. A mining vessel on the edge of the Velix Nebula saw shapes moving in the mist, shapes that looked human. A colony on the frozen world of Nereth 4 woke to find messages written in ice, "We are still here." And in the capital of the Galactic Council, Chancellor Vora stood before a glowing window as the stars outside shifted colors. "Is this the dream?" she whispered. Her assistant nodded nervously. "We don't know. Our scientists say the stars are realigning, like they're being drawn toward something." Toward what? No one could answer. Back on Zethar's ship, he walked through the quiet corridors. The crew slept restlessly, whispering in their dreams. He stopped when he reached the observation deck. Outside, the void shimmered, waves of faint light pulsing through the blackness, spreading outward like ripples in a pond. He whispered to himself, "The dream is alive." He looked down at his hand, and froze. For a moment, his skin glowed faintly blue. A human outline flashed beneath his alien shell, like his DNA itself was changing. He stumbled back. No, it's impossible. The ship's computer came online suddenly, speaking in a voice that wasn't its own. Zethar. He froze. Who is this? The dream grows inside all who remember. The voice was calm, familiar. It was the human again, but softer now, like a thought. The galaxy will not end, it said. It will begin again, through you. Zethar's breath quickened. Through me? What do you mean? Every memory of Earth, every life it touched, is now part of the stars. You are the seed of what comes next. Then silence. Zethar stood there for a long time, staring at the endless dark. Slowly, he smiled, a strange, almost human smile. Then maybe, this is not the end at all. He turned toward the stars and whispered, "Goodbye, Earth." Or maybe, "Welcome back." And as he spoke, far across the galaxy, new stars began to shine, small, blue, and bright, each one pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. The dream of Earth was not gone. It had only changed form, spreading through the universe, waiting to be born again. The galaxy was changing. Across the night sky, stars that had been silent for ages began to flicker with strange blue light. To the eyes of many, it looked beautiful, like the universe had started breathing again. But to those who understood what had happened to Earth, it was something far greater. Commander Zethar stood on the bridge of his ship, staring at the glowing horizon of space. Every few seconds, Another star pulsed, a slow, steady rhythm. Thump, thump, thump. He whispered, the dream's heartbeat. Around him, the crew watched in silence. None of them had seen anything like it. Systems that had once been dead now pulsed with soft energy. Panels glowed faintly as if powered by invisible hands. "Commander," said the science officer, her voice trembling, "the readings are impossible. Each of those blue stars, it's not just light. There's data, information, hidden in the energy waves." Zetha turned sharply. "Data? What kind?" She looked up from her console. "It's language. Not alien, not machine, something new. Like it's trying to speak." Zetha's eyes narrowed. "Put it on the speakers." The room filled with soft static, then faint whispers. At first, it sounded like wind through leaves. Then, the voices became clearer. "Remember us, remember the dream." The crew froze. The voices were human, thousands of them, overlapping like a great chorus. One of the younger officers whispered, "It's them. The humans. They're inside the stars." Zetha felt a shiver crawl down his spine. "No," he said softly. "They are the stars." Far away, on the capital world of the Galactic Council, Chancellor Vora stared up at the sky through the great dome of the council hall. The stars above her were changing shape, aligning into patterns that looked almost like constellations, but moving, forming symbols never seen before. Her aide rushed in. "Chancellor, the astronomers confirm it. The stars are transmitting signals across light years. Every world is receiving them." Vora frowned. "What do the signals say?" He swallowed hard. One phrase, repeating again and again. He handed her a screen. On it, glowing letters formed in every known language. "We are still dreaming." Vora's eyes widened. "Earth's legacy," she whispered. Back aboard Zetha's ship, the blue light outside grew brighter until it filled the entire bridge. Every reflection shimmered. The holographic display turned white, then slowly shaped itself into a face, the face of the human who had sacrificed himself. "Zetha," the voice said, calm and deep. "The dream has awakened." Zetha stepped forward. "I thought you were gone." "I am," said the human with a faint smile. "And yet, not. Every star that beats carries a part of what Earth once was. Every pulse carries memory." Zetha's mandibles twitched nervously. "Why are you contacting me again? What do you want us to do?" The human looked at him with glowing eyes. "You were there. You saw what happened. You understand what life truly is, not control, not conquest, but the echo that refuses to fade. The galaxy must learn that again." Zetha frowned. "You want me to teach them?" "Yes. Because you remember. You felt the dream. It chose you." Zetha stared at the glowing figure, uncertain. "And if I fail?" The human smiled. "Then the dream will find another. But I don't think you will fail." Before Zetha could respond, the light around the ship flared, and suddenly, hundreds of new holographic figures appeared beside the human. Men, women, children, all human, all glowing softly like starlight. They looked at Zetha's crew with gentle faces. One woman reached out a hand, her voice like a whisper of wind. "We are not gone. We are the memory of life itself. We are the start of something new." The crew watched in awe. Some bowed their heads, others cried quietly. The human's voice filled the ship again. "The galaxy will change. New worlds will bloom where there was darkness. You will see planets born from the ashes. But remember, every creation begins with memory. Protect the dream, Zetha." And with that, the figures began to fade, leaving behind trails of blue dust that drifted through the air like tiny stars. Moments later, the communications officer shouted, "Commander! Multiple distress signals across the sector." Zetha spun around. "From where?" "From dead systems, planets that were destroyed centuries ago. They're reappearing, sir. Forming again." Zetha stared at the screen in disbelief. On the display, ancient worlds, thought to be lost forever, began to shimmer into existence. Oceans returned, landmasses formed, light spread. It was as if the universe itself was rebuilding. The science officer gasped. It's like the dream is rewriting reality. Zephyr whispered, no. It's remembering. On the edge of the galaxy, a small, forgotten moon glowed brighter than the others. Its surface cracked open, revealing a city of white stone and light. And at its center stood a tall figure, part human, part energy, watching the stars awaken. It smiled. They will come soon, it said to the empty sky. And they will remember who they are. Back on the ship, Zephyr sat in silence. He looked at the stars, each one pulsing gently, alive. He felt the warmth of something greater than science or war. He whispered, the humans are gone, yet they're everywhere. The stars pulsed again, as if answering him. Thump, thump, thump. Zephyr smiled. The dream of Earth lives on. He turned to his crew. Set a course toward the nearest awakened system. We're going to see what comes next. The engines flared, glowing with the same blue light as the stars. And as the ship moved forward, the galaxy itself seemed to breathe again, alive, awake, and ready to begin a new chapter. The stars were no longer silent. Across the galaxy, they pulsed in rhythm, a heartbeat that connected everything. Every living being, from the farthest frozen moons to the burning cities of the core worlds, could feel it inside their chest, the echo of life itself. Commander Zeth's ship drifted through a region once known as the Grave Belt, a cluster of dead worlds destroyed by wars long ago. But now, where dust and silence once reigned, new light glimmered. Commander, said the navigation officer, we're entering the coordinates of System 9 Tau. It's forming right in front of us. Zephyr leaned forward, eyes wide. Through the viewport, a planet was being born. Mountains rose like waves frozen in motion. Oceans shimmered into existence, glowing faintly blue. Clouds formed from nothing, swirling across a sky that didn't exist moments ago. The crew stared in silence. No one dared to speak. Zephyr whispered, the dream is rebuilding the worlds. The science officer nodded slowly. Commander, life signs detected. Zephyr turned sharply. Already? How is that possible? She stared at the screen, voice shaking. Not evolution. Not creation. Memory. The dream is using its memories of life to rewrite matter. It's bringing back what once was. Zephyr felt a strange warmth in his chest. The hum, the same heartbeat from before, grew stronger. He ordered softly, prepare for landing. As the ship descended, the world below looked like a painting coming to life. Forests stretched endlessly, rivers sparkled with light, and flowers opened as if greeting the newcomers. But what caught everyone's attention was the city. White towers rose from the valley, tall, elegant, and glowing faintly blue. They weren't made of stone or metal. They were made of light. Scan it, Zephyr commanded. Reading, structures are stable but not physical. They exist in two states, energy and matter, the technician reported, eyes wide. The ship landed gently on a glowing platform that seemed to welcome it. As the ramp opened, a soft breeze flowed in, warm, filled with the scent of rain and something that felt alive. Zephyr stepped out first. His feet touched the surface, and instantly, visions filled his mind, flashes of old Earth, oceans, cities, children laughing, wars fought, dreams born. He gasped and fell to one knee. The voice came again, the same calm, human voice from before. Welcome, Zephyr. He looked up. Standing before him was a figure of light, human in shape, but its skin glowed like starlight. Its eyes were deep and calm, filled with the same warmth Earth once gave. You, Zephyr whispered. The guardian of the dream. The being smiled. You remember. Zephyr stood slowly. What is this place? A beginning, the guardian said. The dream has spread across the stars. Each heartbeat creates a world. This one is the first of many. Zephyr looked around. Are the humans coming back? The guardian turned toward the glowing city. They already have. As if responding to his words, the city came alive. Figures appeared, hundreds of them, walking, talking, laughing. They looked human, but their skin shimmered faintly, like they were half light, half life. The crew stared in awe. Commander, one whispered, they're beautiful. Zephyr stepped closer. Do they know who they are? The Guardian nodded. They remember pieces, fragments of songs, dreams, and faces. They are the children of memory, born from what humanity once was. Zeth's voice softened. And us. Why did the dream bring us here? The Guardian turned to him, eyes glowing brighter. Because the dream needs guardians. It remembers destruction, the greed, the wars, the hunger for control. It needs those who have learned from their mistakes. That's you, Zetha. Zetha took a deep breath. You want me to protect this new world. To protect all worlds born from the dream. This is not just Earth reborn. This is Genesis, the rebirth of hope. Zetha looked at the city again. Children of light ran through glowing streets. The sky shimmered with two suns, and the air itself seemed to sing. He whispered, maybe this time, they'll do better. The Guardian smiled faintly. Maybe this time, we all will. Back in orbit, the Galactic Council ships surrounded the new planet. Holographic transmissions filled the air, all repeating the same words. A world has been reborn. Life has begun again. Chancellor Vora appeared on Zetha's screen. Commander, what have you found down there? Zetha looked up at her, eyes filled with wonder. A miracle. And a warning. A warning, she asked. He nodded slowly. Life always finds a way to return. But if we forget what destroyed it before, it will end again. Vora looked thoughtful. Then we must remember. Zetha smiled. That's what the dream wanted. As the ship lifted off, the planet below glowed brighter, the heartbeat echoing through the stars once more. Thump, thump, thump. Zetha stood by the window, watching as more stars began to pulse across the sky, each one birthing new worlds. He whispered, Earth is no longer one planet. It's the heart of the universe now. The crew watched as the stars aligned into a new shape, a faint outline of a blue and green world. And for the first time since the war began, Zetha felt peace. He turned to his crew. Let's go. There are new worlds to protect. The engines roared softly, glowing with the light of the dream. The ship rose into the stars, not as conquerors, but as guardians of what was to come. As the galaxy breathed again, the voice of the Guardian echoed across time and space. They came to conquer Earth, but instead, they found forever. And somewhere, beyond the edge of known space, a single blue star pulsed brighter than all others, a heartbeat that would never fade. Thump, thump, thump. The dream of Earth had become eternal. A new Genesis had begun.